Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 134 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. I'm one of your hosts, Stuart Clark, and I'm joined once again by two admirable people. I think that's the correct word we're using. First of all, from the North Shore of Lake Erie, where he's playing with his Zeppelin. And need we say more? Mr. Geoff Hyland, how are you, sir?
You know, that could be misinterpreted, but let's go with it. Yes, I'm playing with my Zeppelin. I'm on a new Zeppelin kick. I'm so excited, and we can talk about it as the episode progresses.
I know we are going to talk about that. And then also from west of Lake Michigan, where I don't even think the ice is covered there yet. Hopefully the weather is getting better, because it means the weather will get well here. Soon to be on the road, Mr. Terry Measley.
Good evening, gentlemen. And
Good evening.
Depends what you mean by better, because the plants are going to start waking up soon.
I know. Well,
and then it'll freeze again, and it'll be bad.
Again, then we'll be sad. I did enjoy this weekend though out here. We had 2 days of sunshine. It was very nice, and so it was all good.
Yeah, all the snow did melt out, which made the dogs sad and made the floors muddy. But it did let me sweep the I'll sweep the area up and clean up from all the stuff that was caught under the snow. So
yeah,
I guess that's good.
You had a lot of snow.
We did finally this year have a lot of snow.
Right, exactly. And I realized I threw our latest news ahead of the mailbag. I really want the mailbag to be before the latest news. So the clicking you hear is me moving things around on our co-hosts. So, okay, there we go. So
you're messing me up completely.
Yeah. Okay. The joys of collaborative editing. So first of all,
we finally have some letters. So let's let's jump to those.
Before we do that, I want to thank our Patreon, our Buy Me a Coffee supporters. We did get some anonymous people buy us a coffee, so we really appreciate that. That helped pay for the media hosting this month. So we really do appreciate that. You can always check out our website at scalemodelpodcast.com for the info and the links on how to get to that. It's pretty obvious. We also have the What We Like page, which I still haven't updated. I've been so busy trying to get stuff done and some build time in. All right, mailbox. So first of all, Mike Gordy writes us, "Hey guys, I wanted to say that I really enjoyed the show. I've been listening since last year and enjoy the topics and discussions. I did want to ask a question. I too am a big fan of the Robotech Macross series, and especially the aircraft. I heard you guys get extra for your kits and wanted to know where you got them. I've been reading the book that the show Expanse was made from and really likes them. Thanks for a great show." So I think Mike's referring to our Return to Kit Form mask sets. I think that's what he's thinking about for extras.
Yeah, it could be that. Anthony also gave me, and I don't know if he 3D printed it or not, but a great pilot figure for the 172nd Valkyrie.
So
that's the only other thing I can remember.
So over on the print service,
Thingiverse?
Well, no. Well, on Thingiverse, I'll get there, but I got some pilots too from on Shapeways.
Okay.
They were weirdly sized, so they didn't work out so well. But Thingiverse has a bunch of stuff if you know someone who prints for you. Mm-hmm. If not, maybe we could work with Sean or somebody and get some files together for stuff that's available for retail. That's the thing with the licenses on a lot of these. You can do it for yourself.
Yep.
But you can't really make money on it.
Yeah.
But there are weapons packs out there for especially the VF1 series, which goes kind of from the 0 up through the 4.
Right.
But
Brett sent me a weapons pack when he sent me that Black Aces one.
Nice. And Haskawa has weapons packs too.
Yes, they do.
And remember, if you really want to, you can put modern ordnance on these aircraft. What is now modern, because Robotech happened in the late 80s into,
yeah.
So you paveways, AIM 900, AIM 9s, AIM 120s, all that stuff is perfectly valid on those aircraft.
Yeah, and I do know they're constantly bringing out a few more things here and there. So, yeah, you never know. Like I believe in March Hasegawa, we'll cover it later on, but I believe Hasegawa's going to bring out, they're bringing out a YF-19 with a fast pack and fold booster.
Yeah, so they are doing some more, but look over on Thingiverse for files, and have a friend throw them on their printer for you.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for the letter. Okay, and then another good friend of the show and a local member of our local IPMS London club, Kevin White. Just a quick line to say how much I enjoyed listening to your podcasts. It's really like eavesdropping on a couple of buddies discussing their favorite builds, and really keeps me entertained. He obviously doesn't. He obviously doesn't show up on too many build nights either, where we wind each other up. Kevin, you have to join the build nights every other Wednesday.
He's been on the build
he's
nights.
been a few now. Given that it's almost time for the Moosearoo Cup again, go Stuart, I thought I'd attach a couple of pics I took while attending the original contest at the Warplane Heritage Museum between Anthony and the Podfather, David Goldfinch. Up the same work. Yeah, this is going back 4 or 5 years before COVID. This was a good time. As Geoff pointed out, I had more hair back then. But yeah.
And Mike Gordy, that's James Corey, who wrote the Expanse series, and they are good books.
There you go. Awesome. So again, we always love hearing letters, comments, suggestions, even the occasional insult. If it's interesting enough, we might actually put it on the air. scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and Stuart, in that one of those pictures that Sean sent, looks like you got a bit of a mullet thing going on.
Yeah,
maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely had more hair. Although I think it's a curtain behind, actually.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think we're going to give you that one. No.
All right. I'll have to edit that before it goes to air. Obviously. Okay. Lots of news. The annual Nürnberg Toy Fair is on. That's on my bucket list one day. Not just for models, but like for board games, and they got all sorts of cool things that comes out of that. So I did post 3 videos from one person. So some of them are in German, some of them they just have a soundtrack. So you can check those out. But I did have some other separate stuff. So Tamiya had their stuff on display and what they announced. So if we go to their static models, and some of this we may have already talked about, the Leopard, it's a brand new parts with individual link tracks. The metal gun barrel for it, an all new tool KS600 motorcycle and sidecar from World War II from Germany, a new tool, German machine gun tool, the Honda DAX 125, to me a limited edition. It's like a small little scooter bike almost. This one I showed Geoff. I showed Geoff a couple of these last week at the build night. This is a full view Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. So
that would be hard.
I know,
to do a full clear body without getting glue fingerprints all over it. Oh my God.
I know. 124th. They have a Fiat Abarth 695 SS, a 124th Alfa Romeo, the Dual Spirit.
This next one is the one.
And then we have the
Pteranodon.
A dinosaur. Freaking dinosaurs.
We should have let you try and pronounce it. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But it's 1/35th scale, and as we'll discuss later when we get to what's on our bench, I need that kit, but I need it in like 100 times or 10 times smaller than that.
Oh,
I need
exactly.
I need a 1/350th Pteranodon.
Well, that's right. And then they also did a lot of RC stuff and stuff like that. They've got some ultra thin aluminum stickers and a modeler side cutter in their tools section. But if you go down the photo gallery, you can see some of the stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's that wonderful clear Mercedes. A lot of their educational stuff.
Well, it's essentially bare metal foil, yeah.
Yeah. Very thin. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So that's from our good friends at Tamiya. And then Special Hobbies, of course, were there. And they even updated their website. But I found this good thread on Brit Modeler because they hadn't updated when I was editing the notes on the weekend. They had it in Czech, but they hadn't got it in English. So just here's a Humber LRC Mark II light reconnaissance and a 60 centimeter flak SW36. These are in 48 scale.
I love the comment though from the guy who posted this.
Yeah.
Just what I feared, no aircraft, just targets.
Aircraft guy, yeah. Up from Brit Modeler. But again, this looks quite good for the 48th ranks. So yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be neat from Special Hobbies. And then moving on, Revell had a lot of stuff. They won quite a few awards this year at the show. So they won our models made it to the Model Fan Model of the Year award. So then we have their N1 Starfighter from the Mandalorian, 124 scale. In the sci-fi, the civilian vehicles, their new 71 Ford Mustang Boss 351, 125th scale. And that includes the James Bond movie.
And they're essentially in the same scale, 24th and 25th.
Yep.
So there you go.
Exactly. So there's a couple of
why not?
There
yeah.
We just wanted to point those out. Good for Revell from that. And then IPMS Germany always is known for doing some really cool things. They always have they always, obviously it's one of their home shows. So they always take a ton of photos and with a lot of the stuff. So if we go up to the very top, and it does feature the Edouard slideshow this year. But you can see some of the stuff through starting with Revell, what they had. And I'm not really going to comment. I'm just going to scroll down. Revell, as we said, they have the Stranger Things license. Some of these we've talked about. So a combination of new releases and recently announced. Display stands, Robo Friends, so you can build your own little robot. What else we got here? The Bell UH-1D, Goodbye Huey. And then Trumpeter, Hobby Boss, I Love Kit. A lot of stuff there. They've got the Transformers license, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see there.
And some super deformed ones in there, looks like, too.
1/16 Panzer 38 OS-E. Looks like another 1/16 one. And then what else here?
Well, they got some the Smith, was it Smith Houston? A 1/200 scale ship of some kind. Looks kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They've got looks like a lifeboat or something as well. I can barely see it though. I'm gonna have to zoom in.
Yeah, some of these. But then you see that. Go on. Sorry.
No, it's like the photos aren't in any real order, so it's tough to.
Or my manufacturer. Then there's that Dax, that little, what I call a scooter, but it's actually a full-on motorbike with small wheels. Going down a bit, Hasbro, some stuff from Hasbro. Looks like from the guy's wife. Some more Transformers stuff. Mini Art had an absolute ton of stuff of their announcements.
A 1/72 scale Blom & Voss BV222. That's freaking huge.
I know. Why not, eh?
Yeah. That's insane.
Yep. And then the Italeri booth, the Airfix Hornby Corgi booth.
Ooh.
Heller.
Hang on. Oh, they're bringing back out the reissuing the Arado ARE555 America bomber.
Which manufacturer are we talking about?
Revell.
Oh yes, they are.
I'm still stuck. This is the one that kind of looks like the plane from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I've always wanted this one, so I'm glad they're reissuing. That's going to go on my list of
the box art. The box art looks very controversial too. Nuking New York.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the target if you want to have a target
in the war. Yeah.
And that's no offense to New York. I love New York.
Okay, and for the 16 intelligence agencies, I can give you his address later on. Just send me an email if you want to have a chat with him.
You're so supportive, Stuart. So supportive.
I don't mess with those guys. Terrible sense of humor. Terrible senses of humor. Heller, I'm down at Heller. They got a Massey Ferguson 2680 tractor.
One thing I thought was interesting is in the CMK is releasing a 72nd scale Marcel Bloch 210, a very ugly and marginally successful bomber, but it was in between the war sort of thing. There have been small kits of this in the past from, I think, some of the Eastern manufacturers,
right?
Eastern European or Russian even. Nothing like this. Those were things I started and threw away, but this looks interesting. Plus all the stuff from Mini Art, of course.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Mini Art and ruling.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we will discuss the P-47 full-on detail kit.
I will be getting more P-47s.
Yep. Oh, there. That's why we brought it up. We're going to talk about it later.
All right.
All right.
What else?
Oh, the Flying Scotsman. Oh, that's a train set. I've already got that.
100 years. 100 years of the Flying Scotsman. It's not Scottish, it's crap.
Yeah,
you see Corgi.
That's our Christmas train set.
There you go.
Our Christmas train set's the Flying Scotsman.
Yep.
So,
Jeff, did you see the James Bond cars there?
From the Spy Who Loved Me? Those are the die-cast ones, yes.
The release. Those are die-casts, I think,
those are
right?
Die-cast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original version had the little tiny missiles that launched out the back.
Yeah.
But then they got rid of them because they could poke your eye out. They were tiny, or you could swallow them. What's with that?
So the submarine car.
Yeah, that's the Lotus Esprit.
The Lotus, yeah.
And the Spy Who Loved Me.
That's the DB5 from several movies.
DB5, yes.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah. Very cool.
DB5 is my all-time favorite, I must say.
And then we've got the new lifeboat, the Shannon class lifeboat.
Yes,
very nice. That's going to be on my list. I've still got the other one I got to build. I got to finish. It's on the shelf of doom because it's well known that the various orange sections there, you have real trouble getting them lined up. But at some point, I'm going to take a volume or two and try and put it back together again.
Wait, on the new one?
No, the old one, the one above in orange.
Okay.
Yeah, the new one at the bottom's the Shannon class.
All right.
And then
the Gannet, of course.
Yes. Although there is some Gannet news we're going to talk about too.
I've been seeing people posting pictures of finished Gannets.
I know, but there's another Gannet into the fray. Just saying, we're going to talk about that in a bit too. So nice Massey Ferguson tractor from Heller.
Yeah.
A place called Peace Cool, super detailed model kits.
A Massey Ferguson tractor. Very cool.
That looks like it's It doesn't look like too many Massey Fergusons I've seen around here, but it looks maybe French.
It looks clean. It looks clean.
German or
clean.
German.
That's why.
Well, there's that.
It's clean, Jeff. There's no mud and crap on it.
Yeah, we don't have no stinking clean tractors where I live. I'll tell you.
Right. We work hard for that shit.
So
this Peace Cool. Check out this stuff.
I know. They're 3D puzzles. Is what it's marketed as. Yeah.
Well, what is that?
What it says? Metal. They're metal puzzle. They're metal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but look at the one with the power switch on it, the jellyfish.
Yep, 3D metal models. They're
what does that do? That would be intriguing.
It sucks your head off.
I think I think it's just a lamp, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
But
probably.
Still.
Well, looking at their website, they do a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, we'll have to check that out later.
So this Missouri, I don't know what scale does it say, but
no, it doesn't.
My goodness, that path lies insanity.
Yeah,
that looks basically it looks like the Middle Earth kits, but it's a full Missouri.
Wow. You can actually click and get a larger picture
and a black pearl.
Yep,
the black pearl R.
Ever been to sea, Billy?
No, that's the wrong.
Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Sorry.
You ever seen a grown man naked, Billy? Arr.
All righty.
Wrong.
That's a film reference. A film reference.
I know.
It is.
Okay. Then we had the Edouard booth. They had a nice booth, and they had their full display. So IPMS Germany was invited to it. So we're going to go through each of these. So it looks like in May they're going to release. So Edouard's releasing a P51B and 148 scale.
Welcome.
Yeah, D-Day Mustangs, a dual combo pack. June, the Albatross D3 in 172nd scale. July, P51Ds in 172nd scale. August, so they're gonna take the Hong Kong model 148 Flying Fortress, the V17F, and they're gonna Edouard it up, I guess. So they're basing the original molds, the Hong Kong model, and they're obviously going to do some special things to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, Edouard's good at that.
Yep. October.
It's a good model to start with, too.
October. Here's one we haven't really seen being reissued in a long time. A P40 Warhawk in 148 scale.
I wonder if the B-17, like the focus on B-17 is a good tie-in to...
I think definitely.
Oh, sure.
Masters of the Air. I watched the first one. It was pretty good.
I've got them sort of down recorded, but I haven't watched any of them yet. So,
and then looks like a couple of Gustavs, BF-109 G6 and G14s in April. Part 2 of the set. We talked about the Mustang. Looks like some more detail of the B model, what they're going to do. And then June for Overlord, a B26 FG Marauder in 1/72nd scale. And we talked about the Albatross already. A couple more shots of the Albatross. Yeah. And then we go on to the Vallejo booth. So that's what's coming from Eduard. I was pleased to see that. I really wish these companies would, like, when they do these announcements, either on their Facebook, and I know you, I rant, but they really ought to say, this is what we're going to be doing, because it's a pain in the butt to sometimes, and we're giving them free advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Vallejo, so some of their stuff, various colors and various other manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that looks like it was an excellent show. So definitely check that out. Okay, let's go right in to other latest hobbyist announcements.
And another tie-in.
So designed to completely drive certain large aircraft modelers around the bend. In other words, I love it. Aska Studios apparently designing a B1/35th scale B-17G for border. Note I said 1/35th.
1/35th.
Yikes!
Excellent for a diorama.
Well, and if they're anything like that HE-111 that they did,
and the K, exactly.
Ooh, gorgeous.
Yep, it's going to look really nice. The Modeling News is reporting that. We don't have anything else about it yet, just in CAD, and we don't even see the B-17 yet in CAD, but the Modeling News reported that. Okay, we talked about this pretty heavily at our build night. We wound up Ed Kubiak a lot with this. A lot of 1/16 stuff coming out in the armor world. So there's Gecko. They're going with a 160 universal gun carrier and a PAC 40. And you can see them both there. So the brand universal carrier Mark II, 1/16th, workable tracks, etc., etc. Full driving compartment. No engine, but I'm sure, someone's going to make one.
Oh, yeah. And 1/16th scale universal carrier probably is smaller than a 1/35th Sherman anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yep.
It comes with camouflage net, workable track links. Look at that, Jeff. Pins on both sides. That'll drive you nuts.
Yeah, not a chance.
No, me either. No. And then a 7.5 centimeter PAC 40 from Gecko as well. The famous anti-tank gun.
They didn't release anything for the carrier to carry, for it to tow.
Well, give it time. Again, the aftermarket crowd will basically jump all over that, I'm sure.
Yep.
And also in the 1/16th category, which seems to be the new category. Now, we had a fun debate last Wednesday about whether it's because are we getting older and need a bigger scale to see, or is it more detail? We wisely decided to say more detail potential.
I think it's a show-off scale. I think it's just a show-off scale.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, everybody else got 1/35. I've got 1/16. Mine's bigger than yours.
Well, it's like, everybody went out and bought 48 scale and 72nd scale armor, and now it's 16.
So this is the half track, the 251-/22, the pack wagon, 1/16 scale. So basically, it's a half track with a big ass anti-tank gun on the damn thing.
Yeah. And as far as what comes next after 1/16, well, as you mentioned,
about do 1/8.
Our friend Ed Kubiak's already building 1-to-1 scale tank treads.
Tank treads. Well, and they do have what is it? What I call Barbie size, but it's Action Man size. I think it's 1/8 scale. They do
G.I. Joe scale.
G.I. Joe scale Action Man. So this
kind of like Barbie size myself.
Yeah, this 251, it had a PAC 40 on it. So you're sitting there laughing at this half track coming towards you, then it can really spoil your day. Because what's that great boom?
But look at these photos. These detail photos are fantastic for if you're going to be a modeler. Just needs to be in color, which of course they don't have. There's another debate. The value of colorization.
Oh, exactly. A lot of details that you can, if you want to open up panels, you can full engine, visor ports, 3 different visor ports, 2 different track patterns, apparently 3 or 4, all sorts of goodies. So
very nice.
2 types of muzzle brake ends. So they're trying to get as much as they can. Das Work is for this. So
that's a neat vehicle, though. If I'm not an armor guy, but if I did armor, that would be
the classic half track. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Speaking of 1/8 scale, Jurassic World 1/8 scale, blue and beta.
Yeah.
After their release of 135th, X Plus is going up some scales. These are the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park Dominion. You get a nice little diorama there. That'd be pretty big.
With racing stripes on them.
Yep.
It's perfect.
And again, you can throw a Barbie on, show them eating Barbie.
There you go.
I'm waiting for someone to yell at me from upstairs. No. Okay. She will eventually. Yeah. Blue and Beta from the movie. They did see these. These were at a model show earlier in Japan where they're on show, but this is the final form. So yeah, and you can see the CAD, how they put them together.
Yeah, it's interesting. So they can reskin them, it looks like.
Yeah, unlike PVC, it's a lightweight yet durable plastic material, enables a remarkably lifelike pose. So yeah, be interesting to see again.
Yeah,
X Plus, our sponsor, Cult TV Man will have once they're out. So very, very popular. Okay, the new A6 Trumpeter Intruder. They've been talking about this for a while, but we're definitely getting it. 70-second scale. We haven't had a decent Trumpeter Intruder for a long time. But it's got some nice stuff, detail in there, what they've managed to squeeze in with flaps and stuff like that.
You skipped over the McLaren.
Oh, yeah. I'll come back. Sorry, I'll come back to the McLaren. I'm excited. But the other thing, too, is this means we might see a 48 scale one. So just saying.
Why not just skip to 1/16 scale? I mean, just go for it for the planes.
I missed the McLaren.
The wings fold up, right? What the hell?
Wings fold up. What the hell? Okay, back to the McLaren. Half the size with all the detail. The 124th McLaren MP4 from 1988. So basically the smaller size, downscaled. Looks good.
Yeah.
I won a lot of races with Senna.
Yeah, substantially simplified.
Yep.
Yeah, very simple. But it's a classic color scheme too. So if they can get the licensing from Marlboro, or even get permission to do.
Looks like they do.
Yeah,
they're doing the pictures out of it. So it is licensed by McLaren. Now, as you say, we'll have to see full turnable steering wheels.
Not Marlboro. The box art doesn't have Marlboro. Now maybe as that's tied to cigarettes, you're not going to advertise cigarettes.
Why. But you know what? I'm sure there's decal makers that'll do it for you.
Sure, somebody will do it. Yeah. It's like Pan Am for the Orion Space Clipper, right?
Well, exactly, yeah, because Mobius doesn't have the license for 2001 anymore, but they have the license for the Clipper. But again, if I ever build that, I want to do one in either British Airways or Ward Air markings.
Ward Air, yeah, that'd be perfect.
I'd love to see that. That would be awesome.
JetBlue.
Yep, the JetBlue. Okay, now one we know Terry's excited about. As soon as
we don't even need to talk about this one. This is just Terry.
We know Terry. So this is the preview. We've talked about it, but this is now the Art Sprues in color. Mini Arts P47D-30RE Advanced Kit. Terry, take it away.
Well, yeah, this is their highly acclaimed new 47, but it's got everything in it. I mean, they're doing this for a few of them too. They're doing this for the Corsairs.
Yep.
The full engine, so you can take the cowls off. It looks like it's got
die brakes. The die brakes. That's one of the big differences. Yeah, I'm just reading.
I don't know what to say about it beyond they're going deep.
Good for them.
And now, out of the box doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
Right?
What you get here.
No.
Well, no. I mean, look at the PE, Fret. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't even know what I'm looking at on some of these things. Engine
detail, I guess. Detail, my boy. Details.
Yeah. So, and this is...
This may be the next, the state-of-the-art P47.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a later D... Yeah, what's the 30 series?
Yeah, love the color scheme for
25.
How?
Yeah, so it has the tail fillet in it. It's too bad that Hubbard didn't do it for this.
Bubble top from the Farmingdale plant, most notably by the addition of underwing die brakes near the wheel wells and many minor changes. There were over 800 built. And the other main difference externally was the fitting of the filleted tail to improve stability. After the Razorback,
I'm sold on the color scheme for Tar Heel Hal. That's fantastic.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That multicolored checkerboard is
a
work of art.
Yeah. So I'm sure we will be getting an inbox review from Mr. Terry Measley at some point in the future.
Yeah, I can't see any of these available anywhere, but
yeah, coming soon, I'm sure.
It says it should be available soon. Not sure when. Next month.
Doesn't say.
Yeah, I'm not going to get to work on it soon, but
no,
it's astonishing. You can almost completely open this thing up.
Yep.
And certainly then the aftermarket folks are going to be able to, they'll open up the radio compartment and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, it's going to be good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very
excellent
nice.
Work by Mini Art. Okay, then we have, of course, Special Hobby, because they update their website.
Oh, they get special treatment.
That's right. They update their website, damn it, and send me a regular email. You bet they do. If the other manufacturers want to, please do. Send me an email. I'm be glad. If you want to sponsor us, even better.
Oh, I'm not seeing any pictures. My broken link pic.
You got a broken link? My link works. So we're going to start with try reloading.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back out.
All right. Gloucester Meteor TT Mark 20, 1/72 scale. This was the standard all-weather fighter during the 50s.
And this is the dedicated target tug. Yeah.
Dedicated target tug. This looks cool. And you got some 3D printed stuff in here, too.
They flew these target tugs for a long time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got to get your money's worth. It's the British.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
So that's neat. And then we have an Aero A11HS Finnish export version 1/72. Look at that rigging, Geoff. It's calling your names.
Remember me? I'm the one who had to take my mouse out so I can. I'm stuck with this trackball thing. It drives me nuts. Very nice.
As we said before the show, people, when you see Geoff, tell him to get another mouse in a docking station.
I just need a docking station. The mouse works fine. I just have to take it out when I want to wear the headphones.
Or you get a Bluetooth mouse.
Or I'd be like Frank and go out and spend my second mortgage on all the new electronic equipment because he wants to do podcasting. There you go.
Just get a dock.
He got his mic. You know what? He got his mic free from the podcast guys over there.
Did
I can get he got a Bluetooth. Or he got a Snowball Blue. I have one if you want one. I can.
No, you want a mic?
Much better mic.
If you can hear me, that's fine. I just
I
need that port thing.
Get a dock.
Get one of those.
I'll
get a dock.
Get a nice dock.
Okay, are we caught up?
Dock it.
All right.
The Aero A11HS.
Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. It's got little
the Finnish version. Lots of nice details. Well, yeah, if you notice, it's in pieces. So if you can put it together if you want.
Yep.
And again, a few 3D printed parts as well for the engine.
I don't see any photo etched rigging spars on that.
No, it looks like you're doing.
And that's that rigid rigging. It's not wire.
Oh,
wouldn't be hard to do in photo etch.
It wouldn't be. And then next is this is an attractive looking one, the Henkel HG59B. There's something strangely attractive about it.
I like it. Well, it's a float plane. I mean, it's got that going for it.
Yeah.
Suitable for more experienced modelers. Yep.
It's got that pugnacious sort of pushed forward observer's window at the front. You know, it's like, it's got its chin stuck out.
So look at this. We got 4 styrene sprues, resin cast, 3D printed, and a fret of etches.
To Terry's point, I mean, what's out of the box mean anymore, right?
It doesn't. Yeah.
This is still considered out of the box. Just have your instructions.
Yeah, I'm starting to see pushback on it. Shows about that. It's like we're getting rid of out of the box.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the way they tried to bring it in was a factor as well. I don't think you need to do it. I really don't. But it's nice to have for a modeler who wants to do the advanced modeler wants to do something nice. You can definitely do this.
Which I do like Edwards and some of these other approaches where you've got the weekend edition, which is just the base kit.
Yep.
Or Profi Packer, just get your own stuff. Do you want to just dress up the cockpit? That's fine.
I kind of like the way when they package it like this, though. I mean, as long as the quote aftermarket unquote portions of the kit are up to snuff, then that's fine. But if
I'm no expert,
if they're just doing a resin cast and it's kind of a crap one, then I don't know.
I'm no expert on the aircraft, but these look good. Yeah, these look nice. I don't know how accurate they are, but they look bloody nice to me.
I think it's interesting they're starting to put 3D printed bits in too, though. That's
good.
That's going to be
parts. Yep.
That's going to be the future.
Again, it's the tool that's appropriate for the part.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And casting the stuff that we see here, in 72nd scale. This is a magnified view.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Now I'm looking at the sprue with the wings, and those are pretty darn thick sprue gates, and particularly the ones that are attached to the propellers. That's a terrible
What
place.
are you? You're a real modeler. You can take those off.
It's 70. It's 72nd, Geoff. Remember, it's 72nd. So I don't think those gates are all that large. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Saw them off if you need to.
Saw them off.
Definitely, you'd be using a razor saw for that.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah. All right, and they also have a Latcore, which I can't pronounce. Must be French. Okay, yes. A 298, 148 scale, another float plane. This looks very attractive looking. This is their Vintage Treasure Edition. I'm not sure what that means, but
I think these are older.
Yeah,
this is like the Airfix. Yeah.
Yeah,
here we
go.
Issue.
I never bought this when it was first out.
The kit was originally released in our Zurich edition. Now we bring it back in a new range called the Vintage Treasure. Such labeled kits. Injected styrene resin, vacuum form canopy, and a decal sheet. So it's designed for the more advanced modeler.
But the base model is actually pretty simplified.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an old mold.
Yeah, it's an old. Well, that's what they've said. They've added some other bits and bobs to it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's an old mold, but I think it had resin cockpit set and everything to start with. It's essentially a re-release. Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Probably improved.
Yeah, look at the old stuff you're working on.
I know, like I'm working on a mold from 1959.
Well, there you go.
I never did get this. I'm probably going to get this.
All right, there you go. So again, another inbox review by Mr. Terry Music coming soon. Okay, then we got some vehicles, or as some guy calls them, targets. SDKFZ10, the Zug Kraftwagen, the DMAG D7, 172nd scale. It was the smallest German half track they built during the war.
I gotta say, I think that's probably your best pronunciation of a German word in a long time.
That was pretty easy. Kraft dinner wagon, Zug Kraftwagen.
It's the Zug
Kraftwagen. Yeah.
Mag.
And apparently, when this model was first released, it got the Model of the Year award. So it's a reissue. A lot of different options.
There you go.
Yeah, that's nice. Interesting camo scheme. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, two different markings.
Freehand airbrushing.
3 different markings, 4 different markings, 4. Okay. And then on to some of their extra bits. So the Tempest Typhoon for the 72nd scale Airfix kit, the early wheels, the late
72nd scale 3D printed exhausts. That's amazing.
Early gun barrels, gun sight, there's the gun sight and seat correction set.
Yeah.
The exhausts. I've got this kit. It's a fairly nice kit, but you could definitely make it a bit nicer if you wanted. The Mitchell, the B-25 B, C, D, and G, the wing air takes correction sets for the various 48 scale.
Yep. So I was going to bring that up later on. It's like with the re-release.
Sure, why not?
Of the Accurate Miniatures kits. Academy's doing it in a naval scheme, PPJ scheme, but it wasn't a PPJ, so that you're going to have new engines and cowls and all that stuff aftermarket for it. I look forward to it. So, guys, if you want to do a naval one and you missed out the first time around, this is the time to do it because it will be stuff done.
Mm-hmm. And I love what they do with their machine guns. So a Type 92 and 135th scale Japanese machine gun. Look at all the parts, 3D printed parts, 16 different parts for this thing. And then we have the SS100 Gigant front radiator mask. Going to say Anomag, 3D printed. Hawker Hurricane gun sight. Look at this for the 32nd for the Revell. Look at the complexities there. All in one piece, thank God.
3D printed and clear, so be careful how you paint it.
Yep. And they are available.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're available now. See this, and this is why I cover Special Hobby, because they're nice enough to do this. Now, in other interesting news, so you remember how Airfix announced they released a 148th Gannet, and we hadn't seen a 48 scale Gannet since like eons, probably since the original manufacturer built one to show the Royal Navy what it looked like.
Yeah.
Sword has just announced they're going to be doing one in 148 scale.
In 148. And they very specifically say this is very different from the Airfix one.
That's what they've said.
Yes.
So it's
very different.
it's going to be interesting. They're going to do the folding wings. So the ladder is a Gannett. The sword is going to be an AEW-3, which is the airborne warning system.
Yeah.
Of which only 44 were built, but it's a nice looking aircraft too.
Well, it kind of looks like it's got a big tumor underneath it.
I know, or it's pregnant, but
a big radome.
Yeah. Or it's like those birds that puff out their sacks to attract mates or something.
Swords held in very high regard. They're out of Czech. They're out of the Czech Republic, and they do some nice things. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I know. There's got to be people out there that do AEW collections.
Yep, and
they got their Sky Raiders and their plenty of other ones that have done. Avenger had a radome on it. There's a bunch of others.
There was a lot of different ones. Even the Corsair had one for a while. No, it was on the wing. That's
on the wing, yeah.
That's right. Okay, so that's all the individual stuff we found. Let's see what's new as of February the 5th today. Let's see what's new from our friends at Scalemates. As I reload, some have pictures, some don't.
Yeah, some don't have pictures.
1/16 3D print files, CV-33 tankette from Landships Modeling. What else here?
Our friends at Deck know with some new ones.
Yeah, the Waddell Williams 45.
Yeah, Miss Patterson.
1/16 2-centimeter flak 38. What else?
Oh, this is nice to see model kits of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, Greed.
Here's Greed.
MS General, obviously from an anime series.
Yeah, it's an anime.
Yeah. So I assume there's going to be 7 eventually. one would assume that, right?
You would think. Yes.
January 31st, the OT-64A SKOT. Scott, some sort of transporter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, unusual shape.
Some Gundam.
The Entropy of the Gods.
Why not,
Legion of Thor. Everything sounds so important.
Well, you got to be when you're doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about the 26th? Peugeot P4 light utility vehicle in 1/72nd, and a CBR Fox early service with interior, 1/35th scale. That looks nice. Little armored car.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We've got Metal Earth, maneuver striker pack for Gundams. What's cardboard? Oh, never mind, cardboard model. We do plastic here, damn it. January 20th. The I think we talked about this, the HS 129B1, the tank buster in 1/48 scale. They're not releasing that till 2025. But ICM does have the UH-60A Blackhawk in 1/35th, the CH-54 Skytrain in a smaller 1/72nd.
Those all safe 2025 news.
Yeah, they
new
do.
Tool.
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder if
they decided to really go ahead. The Dingo. On January 19th, ATF Dingo 2, 1/72nd. And then,
Merkava
1/72nd. That looks like, interesting. From a company, Iveco, IVECO.
What is that Lord Spirit?
Oh, thing? That's like their laser mini four-wheel drive series. These are the ones that Tamiya, they make them and you put them on the tracks.
Yeah.
And they basically, it's pretty cool. It's like a whole thing. It's not like RC. They're on like a fixed track, but the idea is the little wheels, the tracks have little walls on them. And they just, there's a lot of stores in Japan. They might have the models on the first floor, and then they'll have a track upstairs. It's kind of like slot cars, but just a different sort of thing.
Without the slot.
Without the slot, basically.
Without the slot and without a controller.
Yep. Basically just away they go. It's pretty cool.
You put it down and you just wander off. Yeah.
Well, you can watch it. It's amazing how fast they have jumps and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to check out sometime. Of course, we have January 18th, Revenge of the Creature from X Plus.
Yep.
In a nice looking Yamaha.
There's really not a lot of new stuff.
No, that's where we left off last time.
Yeah, so. I'm looking at the Peloton model pedal car in 1/35th scale. I remember laughing at that the last time. So
yeah, so there we go. Yeah. So
no, not much here.
Nope. Okay, so that's what's new.
You know why? It's because Heritage Con is coming up, and they know nobody's going to want to spend money on these kits before Heritage Con.
That must be it. That must be it. Yeah. Yeah, I say that as my crack dealer gave me a call today. And apparently, there's something waiting for me at Nino Tokyo, but we'll talk about that shortly.
You've got to stop calling Peter a crack dealer. One of these days, it's gonna come back to haunt the poor guy.
No, it won't, because Frank's got his crack dealer, and Ed hasn't been caught yet. So
it's because he's way up north.
Yeah, I know, but that means you could hide the body easier.
That's true. Toss it in the lake.
All right. Speaking of other cool things, let's talk about another crack dealer. Not really, but another with a lot of goodies.
This guy's your sponsor. You don't want to piss off your sponsor.
No, he loves it when I say this stuff. He's got some amazing stuff, of course, Steve at Cult TV Man. So here we go. Let's see what's happening at culttvmanshop.com. Lots of new products coming in from Metropolis, the Ratwang and Frederson resin kit from Red Planet. That's available for $84.99. And then from Monarch Models, they've got a limited number of these. The Moonsuit scale from Monarch Models, $62.99. Lots of other goodies here as well. We have the Super Sanjun Sangoku Dragon Ball Z from Bandai, and a lot of other stuff from Dragon Ball Z. And then a lot of Bandai has come in. So a lot of Gundams. Build Edge Hands, the Edge A High Grade Custom. Cross Silhouette Frames. What else here? The RX-78-2 Gundam EFS Prototype Real Grade 01 from Bandai. That's $30. We've got the Gundam GP01FB UNT Spacey Prototype, the multi-purpose mobile suit. That's $39.99. And then also from Lake Monsters, for your Starship Enterprise, for the first pilot, the Starship Nacelle end caps, 1/650th from Lake Monster, and also the production ones in 1/650th. And what else do they have here? The Refit Impulse Deck, 1/350th Constitution class. They're on back order, but you can certainly join the mailing list. They're $12.99. And also the issue of Fine Scale Modeler, March, April, featuring the TIE Fighter and Artemis rocket. If you can't get it at your newsstand, make sure you can get it there. So, as usual, all sorts of cool things. You're going to see them at Wonderfest. So don't forget to tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you, and that's at culttvmanshop.com. As you heard, a lot of cool stuff coming out. So, and he's also going to be at Wonderfest as well. I'd love to get him up to Heritage Con. I really would. But
be fun.
Yeah, it would be. But anyway. So what's on the bench? We'll start with me. Slow and steady on the YF-21. Having a lot of fun with it, getting it together. Had a bit more time this week. One of the main things, I was working on putting the end of the wings on. Like, the wings are short, stubby wings, so there's a second part that goes on at the end. One part went on beautifully, no seam, no nothing. The other one, no matter what I did, it was still being a little tiny seam. So it gave me a good opportunity to try I picked up a while back the Mr. Surfacer, but the Aqueous. So not the stinky stuff, the Aqueous stuff. And I bought the 500 and the 1000. So I put some of the 500 on with like a Q-tip or a micro brush, let it sit for a couple of minutes. And then I used a wet Q-tip to, on a 90-degree angle, like you would for other sort of, when you're trying to sandless seam work. And it works great. I have to admit, I've only used it once. I'm very impressed with it. And again, the smell is a lot less evil. Because that Mr. Surfacer, it's great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but man.
Yeah. My wife always complains, so I use solvent-based stuff.
That's what I try. I'm the same, so we try and use something that's not. The other thing, so I'm also starting to work on the landing gear, get that detailed. So yeah, it's getting there. It's starting to look like an aircraft now. I still have to come up with a fictional name because it's going to be a what if in Canadian service. So I've got a couple of ideas. So we'll see what I end up choosing there. One nice thing is I can pick a name that in real life was maybe used later on in real life because it's a what if, right? So exactly. The other thing I did is I had some shelves, a shelving rack too that my wife gave me. So when I came up with Workbench version 2, I just slapped some stuff on there, but there was definitely room to put some more shelves in for paints. I've been really getting a lot of the AK Gen 3 and the Army Painter stuff, and I don't really have storage for them. I've got plastic drawers for the Tamiya and the Aqueous for the smaller ones, but you can't really put those other dropper bottles in there. So, like many other people have done, I made a paint shelf. In this case, I inserted some shelves, and for the first time I've done woodworking work in like 15 years and not really a proper shop area to do it. It turned out fairly well. So that was most of last Saturday. And I'm very pleased. I've got pretty well all the AK dropper bottles in there, all the Army Painter speed paints. And then I've got the other shelf I can do, and that will nicely take care of the rest of the dropper bottles. So, and the Tamiya square paint jars, the weathering products. So it looks really good. I'll make sure I include a picture on that. So yeah, really, really pleased with that. I'm still working on what else I'm going to do to add stuff. I'm on the lookout for used drawer sets and stuff like that. But hopefully Workbench version 3 will continue and it'll look good. All right, Geoff, what about you, my friend?
Well, if you follow us on the London Club and now the Canadian IPMS Workbench page on Facebook, I've been posting my progress on some of those ancient molds. I'm pretty close to finishing the Lindbergh Snark in 148 scale. It looks pretty good, as long as it don't look too close, but I mean, it looks pretty good. And I was nearly finished that one, so I figured I'll pull off the old Revell. I don't even know what scale it is, but it's like 196 or maybe, no, it can't be that small. Anyway, 154th maybe Beaumark missile from the 1960s. Which replaced the Arrow. Supposedly,
we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it, but anyway, very controversial missile system. But I always thought it was kind of a cool little wing platform, and so I got that one going, and it comes with a stand, so it looks like a little launcher. And then the other day, and Stuart, you saw this too. It's on how Facebook randomly throws up ads or throws up other things that you might be interested in. And I don't know why I might have been interested in it, but it turned out I was. It was gonna be a poster for a 1970s Hammer horror film / adventure film called Zeppelins versus Pterodactyls.
What more do you need? What more do you need?
Honestly, this looks fantastic. I have a TACOM 1350th P-class Zeppelin in my stash, and I pulled it out and I thought I could hack into this a little bit and get little 3D printed pteranodons sort of attacking it, and then maybe pose it in flight above a volcanic island that's about to erupt. And I don't know. Anyway, so I got all these little things flying around, so I started building it and I started tearing into it with a grinder, and I'm how when you get an idea and you just start running with it, just things start to fall into place. That was kind of fun. Some
it's
projects
looking good.
Some projects, it's just like it's really hard to get it out, but this one is just coming together.
Yeah.
I suspect I'm going to hit a roadblock real soon.
No, you won't. No, it looks really good. The stuff you got for the torn fabric, and we've got our buddy Ron looking into some 3D printed stuff for you.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron's great. He's found some pteranodons, and I was looking for a Fokker D7 because apparently in the poster it has two Fokker D7s attacking these pteranodons around the Zeppelin. How did the Fokker D7s get to this island with the Zeppelin? I don't get it. Unless
Don't worry about it. That's like details.
I was even thinking maybe I'll build like a hangar bay inside the thing.
Sure, why not? Let it slung below like a parasite fighter.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. So he couldn't find a Fokker D7, but he's got some DR1 triplanes. So even
better.
The Red Baron versus the monsters. I love it.
So there you go. I'm completely out of the realm of reality at this point.
No, but you know what? That's fun. I saw that poster.
It's fun though. That's the fun stuff.
I thought of you totally.
Yeah, it's fun.
What you could do is, I know you can get some, if you get some of your clear sprue from canopies and that, you could stretch some of it and use it to like help mount some of the dinosaurs around the Zeppelin and that.
Oh, I'm already ahead of you there. That's definitely in the plan. And awesome. I want to try to find a little 1/350th scale figures that I can stick on it, because there's a gun platform on the top bow of this thing.
Yep.
And I want to have a couple of pteranodons munching on some people. That just, you got to have that somewhere.
Now, if you can have it done for Heritage Con.
I know. No, I don't think I'd ever show it, but I mean,
oh no. You must show it.
I was trying to think, can I light the volcano? Because then
sure you can.
You get sort of like the whole poster has the Zeppelin in pink.
Yeah.
Like it's not painted pink, but it's the lighting, right? So
light it up.
You could have uplighting from the volcano in kind of an orangey red.
And you could have fiber optics in the Zeppelin, so you could light the control cabin, and you could light the machine guns firing.
Do you know how big the control cabin is on this thing? It's not.
You don't need to light it. They wouldn't have been well lit. You'd be fine.
It's been an inch long, for God's sake. You're making me crazy. Anyway, so it's kind of fun. So, but it was fun to tear into this and then try to figure out how, because when you tear into it, you have to somehow show the internal structure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these things were all just lattice works and
gas bags.
Gas bags.
And so I've been playing around with different approaches to doing that and using the aluminum foil technique to sort of make it look like the skin's flapping back and all that. So it's a new area. I haven't done it before.
Do some Google searches on German Zeppelins and the British ones. You'll be surprised what you may find with some interior pictures. You might find.
I found tons. I found tons. Yeah, I've done. Remember, I have another Zeppelin here that I have researched on in the past. Yeah. I have definitely got the Zeppelins. But it was interesting. I was thinking. I noticed in my email. I got an email from IPMS Canada that they are doing a couple of new awards this year because it's the 60th anniversary of IPMS Canada. For those of you who don't know, and one of them is like awards for a Canadian subject again. So I thought maybe I could make a story and put a Canadian flag on this thing.
Oh, I like that.
But I don't think they'd accept it. They said you can't just stick a Canadian flag on something and call it Canadian subject. So
all right, I got to correct the spelling.
They thought ahead of me.
You know what? I got to correct the spelling, but we do have we have our show title.
Well, okay.
Geoff versus the Zeppelins.
Geoff versus the Zeppelin. Oh, yeah, and the Pteranodon. So that's going to be, and it has to be Pteranodon. Can't be pterodactyl because apparently pterodactyl is not really a thing anymore. Pteranodon's more accurate.
Well, whatever.
that's the broader category. Yep.
Yes.
There's still great bloody things with wings that
there are some wild ones. Yeah,
humans nice snacks.
Well, there's the big one is what Quetzalcoatlus. I think it's called. It's huge, and there's all kinds of theories about it being very brightly colored, sort of very much like Avatar things.
Mm-hmm. Well, why not? Who's going to go after it, right?
No one
like
can.
It needs to camouflage itself.
I was thinking like a forced perspective thing, right, with a big beast in the foreground, and
that's good. That's
the little guys attacking it.
Look at all the ideas you're getting. It's what this is very much like when I do these what ifs. You just let your imagination go, and to me that's modeling. But
have some fun. Have some fun with it.
Exactly.
I know. I go up and I show my wife, look, I've got all this aluminum foil. It's supposed to look like fabric flapping in the wind. She looks at me, smiles, and says, "That's very nice, dear."
Yeah, she's thinking, I know. We all get that look, but the grandchildren are going to love it.
Oh yeah, the boys will go crazy.
The boys will go crazy.
Boys and Ellie, she'll go nuts too. She'll love it.
Exactly. You'll be the
anyway.
Cool
That's me.
You'll be the cool grandpa once again.
Yeah.
Once again, not really much of a battle, I'm just saying, but once again you will be. Okay, Terry.
Yeah, I decided to go ahead and just work on this Halberd Models P47H, have some fun.
Right.
And it has been fun. It's felt good to get back on the bench and really, really make progress on something. And I'm at the painting stage. I had one stage where last weekend getting some dark gray on there just to see what the seams look like, made some fixes. Now I've got starting to get actual base colors on as base coats. And I'm really happy with the underside. Mm-hmm. And I've got to more closely examine all the rest of the seams, but I think it's pretty good.
Looks good. You've been keeping us informed with emails.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was able to recover the bulk of them, and I've got a few other things to get in there, like the doors and stuff. But it'll be painting and then putting point pieces on, and then more painting, and then more painting, and then it'll be done. I hope to have it done by Heritage Con.
There you go. To see it.
Yeah, then it'll come to all the markings and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see where I go with it.
Awesome.
I've got an idea for how to do a shark mouth, a very fun way to do a shark mouth. I've also did the same thing while I had that dark gray out to check the seams on that Hasegawa Rigolt.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a chance to check the seams on that, but I think they'll be okay. And did some pre-shading at the same time. So I did get some fresh paints, and that makes a difference. So yeah.
Now what did you get? Did you get the acryl? Or what did you get? What did you
I'm
get?
using AV on this.
You're using AV? Okay.
Yeah. The hobby shop has the games shop has AV color, the game color on that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's got some really nice colors.
Yeah.
Model Air, Game Air series.
Right.
They don't have the Model Air series because that's
yeah.
They have new packaging on those bottles.
Yes, they've gone to a new logo. I picked up at Brofdale a large bottle of the model airbrush. What is it? The airbrush flow improver. Yeah, they've redesigned their logo.
Not just that, the small bottles are now clear PET.
Okay.
So you can actually see it in there, and
okay.
It seems to the droppers revised on it. It seems
interesting,
just better all around.
Okay, well, the manufacturers are doing that. A lot of some different paint lines are coming out. AK's re-releasing their real color with a new formulation. Army Painters got a new stuff coming out for their standard paint line. And they last year released their speed paint, which has been good. So yeah, a lot of technology, a lot of improvements going on there.
Yeah, I think a lot of these polyurethane type paints, they work well, but they don't age well.
You got to be careful.
So I'm probably going to wind up throwing some old ones out because I just bought some new ones, and it's not worth all the time of straining and everything else.
Exactly.
And maybe clogging your airbrush.
The only thing I think I would do with some of them, and because you can get the ball bearings now, so if there's some,
I put glass beads in all of them
or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So that works. Okay, very good. What are we reading, Geoff? What are you reading these days?
Well, I finished The Wager.
Okay.
The tale of murder, mayhem, mutiny on the high seas, which was by David Gran, and it's being made into a movie, and it'll be a good movie. And
cool.
It'll be it's a really interesting. Same guy who wrote The Lost City of Z or Zed,
right?
And also Killers of the Flower Moon. So he's a really interesting writer, and he's a good writer. It's not hard to read it in the sense that he doesn't sort of go into too much detail. It's a really good story to read. So I finished that, and another book I got for Christmas from one of my daughters was The Dawn of Everything: A New History of Humanity by David Graeber and David Wingrove, and it's a rethink of what we think we know about the origins of human society. It's a challenging book. But it's well written again, and it's easy to follow. And they write in modern English as opposed to scholastic English, if you know what I mean.
Yep. So are we actually aliens or lizard people after all?
No, it doesn't get into that. But basically, all of our theories about society, and I hadn't even thought about this until I started reading this, but all of our theory about the formations of society come from two philosophers, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who came up with the theory of the noble savage, that humans were inherently perfect until we started forming cities. And Hobbes, Thomas Hobbes, who came up with the quote that life was, in the early days, life was nasty, brutal, and short, and that man is by nature selfish, and if we didn't have laws and rules and order, then we'd basically be murdering each other and killing each other and all of that stuff. And these two guys said we didn't particularly like either of those two approaches because they didn't feel right, but they seem to have historically taken the field, so to speak. And so they've written this book to essentially try to come up with a new theory of humanity. And I'm so early into it, I don't know what that new theory is, but I like the thought of approaching it this way, because I must admit I kind of agree both of those two extremes seem a little too simplistic for the complexity of human society. Anyway, so much for deep thoughts. That's what I'm reading.
Very
also,
cool.
I picked up the whole every volume of all of the books by Hergé on Tintin. So I've been reading some of those as well.
Excellent. Good choice. Good choice. Well done. I haven't really had time to read. It's been terrible, actually, but I'm going to hopefully read a little bit more because and I'll explain that a little bit later, but almost done coming of age. I got another chapter to go. And then Clear Thinking, Shane Parrish, I'm about halfway through. I think the next one after I finish the Tim Ferriss one, it's all about the Explorer probe or Voyager 1 and Voyager 2.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring down the book to get the title, but I will add it to the show notes. Okay, Terry.
Yeah, I am. I think I'm getting close to finishing off the Elric series, or the second book, and then I'm gonna read something else. Probably Adam Savage's book. My friend Emily brought over New Year's, so that should be fun. I haven't had as much time to read over lunchtimes recently, right. So that puts a dent in my time there. But I also am reading, still going in the Constantine, the most recent series that I read essentially one comic book a night before bedtime, and yeah, that's what's great on Comixology is like they're all included in the subscription.
That's what makes it nice. You don't have to store them anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is always nice too. That's one reason I never kept up with comics. The storage, and then they started to get these cross stories where you had to buy 28 issues per month.
Yeah, it is tough, and there's some cross stories in this one.
Yeah. So, okay. This one's not a cross story. This is the real truth. Our good friend at Sean's Custom Model Tools, who will of course be at HeritageCon. Let's see what he's saying. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, topics and things we've seen. I saw this off of DN Models, and they were talking about what's most important in a scale model. And they're saying just recently we caught a glimpse of a Kinetic post in their social network where they were questioning. There was a question. What would be the most important decision when buying a scale modeler? Price, accuracy, cool markings, super detailing. What exactly will be the magic? So they, apparently there was some debate. Unfortunately, they didn't link to the actual social media post, which really didn't help. But basically, they were talking a little bit about Kinetic. They have interesting kits, various repacks, cool box arts. They have some issues. One of the best example is their FA-18 Hornet line. The first, which was an immediate hit featuring great details and interesting engineering. However, the instructions were awful, and that is to put it gently. The price wasn't much different from that of established old school White Shark model maker, but the instructions were far from it. There were some releases regarding the first generation Harrier, a beautiful kit without a doubt, but with some inconsistencies, etc. So what is the most important? So, and they're kind of going through cool markings, price, super detailing, accuracy. What they feel, as DN models, in our opinion, that the kit should be perfectly buildable out of the box. No need for anything extra. It should also give you options for improvement, alteration, not unlimited, of course, and whatnot, but that should be left to one's personal preference. So it's kind of funny we were talking about some of the special hobby stuff. Because if it's the other way around, one's favorite plain tank out of the box might mean the necessity of buying aftermarket, rescribing sandy, or failure to replicate it properly. I tend to kind of agree with that. I know, Geoff, you had a different opinion. We were talking about this pre-recording.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, what makes me want to buy a model? It is the subject. It is whether it's something that interests me or intrigues me. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care if it's a fantastic model that's going to build right out of the box. I mean, look at what I build. I built a 1959 mold of a Beaumark missile, which needed tons of sanding and putty, but it builds up to an interesting, unusual subject. So for me, it's now if I'm going to build like an F-14 Tomcat, then I'm going to build the Tamiya kit. I'm going to look for the best one that builds up beautifully and all that sort of thing. And I love wingnut kits as well, and that level of quality, border models, that sort of thing. But for me, it's all about the subject. It is not, and it isn't necessarily price, although price does play a role. If I want to make something that's different and I'm going to be hacking away at a model, I'm not going to do that to a wingnuts kit. I'm gonna get something that's less expensive, so I don't feel quite as much guilt in doing that damage to it.
Right.
But that's more my thinking. It's all about subject, and I get sick of seeing 16 Messerschmitts and 16 Spitfires and all these different.
But we know why they do that.
I know why they do that. It's because they sell. But frankly, that hasn't turned my crank at all.
Understood.
So, there you
perfectly. Go. What about you, Terry?
Yeah, it's a balancing act. I do come down pretty hard on the buildability. I have, as I say, colonized badly buildable kits where just I'm done. At some point, I'm like, screw it, I'm done. I'm not fighting with this. Mm-hmm. And I'll sometimes message a friend or someone like Tom or Cleaver and go, yeah, I think this is just a load of garbage. Is like, yeah, I stomped on mine. It's like
I can see Tom doing that. I really can, literally.
Yes. No, I completely literally, yeah. But that said, you can't get the easy stuff wrong. It pisses me off, and when you see someone go through all the effort of building a 32nd scale Mustang and they get the nose wrong. I'm like, there are Mustangs everywhere.
Yeah,
you can go anywhere and look at one. Take photos and measure and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so that does tick me off a little bit. And as a fellow person who likes odd subjects between the war subjects, the unusual stuff, conversion sets, I prefer a conversion set that's based on a decent kit to start with.
Yeah, no argument there.
Okay, like I said, we thought we'd talk about that.
Yeah. So
if you have,
I'll give you one example. I was asked to do some museum kits years ago for the Glenview Naval Air Station here, and one of them was a battle axe twin beach B-18, the C-45.
Okay.
And I'm putting this thing down like, oh, this is unpleasant. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do one for myself too. And I even got a chance to get up and measure a real one. And whoever did the masters on it did a good job. Everything specced out perfectly, but wow, was it a terrible kit. But I had committed. Right. Those models were like 30% AV's epoxy putty by the time I was done with them. Just because I had stuff just did not fit, But it looked great. They got one. I got one. I'm happy.
That sounds like Geoff's adventures with our friends at the Jet Aircraft Museum.
Yeah. Well, that's my adventures with using a power sander on a plastic model.
Why not? Yeah. Not many people can say that. I'm just saying.
No.
Just remember that.
But again, even with that one, sure, there was a ton, 200 hours worth of work in those two planes. But they ended up not looking bad. I mean, they're not going to they're not detailed contest winners, but they're ceiling hangers, which is what they were intended to be.
I still think they should give you a flight in the Red Knight. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I saw that it was flying yesterday or on the weekend.
On the weekend. Yeah, they were doing one of the other pilots was getting some hours and he needed. Yeah. They posted that to their website.
For those listeners who don't know, the Red Knight is a vintage T-33 jet that is flown out of London Airport here in southwestern Ontario in the livery of the Red Knight, which is bright red all over the place with a
gorgeous looking aircraft. Yeah. It's always fun when we hear it's going to go up. We keep our eyes to the sky for it. Okay, Terry, we have this one here, modeling when traveling.
Yeah, so I'm likely to be traveling more this year. And I will be out of the pocket entire next week. So I'm going to bring some stuff along with me to work on. I've done this in the past. Sometimes when airplanes were easier, I could bring stuff on the plane with me. When it's driving, it's easy. So I was curious if anybody else is out there, does a lot of traveling and brings stuff along to work on. What's your travel kit? I don't plan on ever, I can't say never, but getting one of those little portable air brushes. But I'm starting to look at, if I'm building stuff and I want to get cockpit grade in, maybe I would invest in one of those little single unit battery powered airbrushes.
Yeah, some people, I didn't think they'd be that good, but some people swear by them now. They say they're not too bad at all. So maybe what we should do, Terry, is throw a post up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's like, do you have a separate travel kit? I've got a lot of stuff put into a bin that I can go to the meetings and stuff like that and work on stuff stuff there. And I'll probably just do that. But it obviously, to me, when I was painting miniatures, it was easy. Yeah, I would bring my paints along, bring minis and supplies, and I could just sit there bring a lamp. Yep. And sit there in the hotel and just paint minis. Yep. Paint minis all night long. Yep.
There you go.
Put something on the television or my iPad and just paint minis.
Well, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than going down to the hotel bar. Usually. So yeah.
Well, yeah,
probably better for you too.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Probably better. Okay, and then you've got this other thing here.
Where are we here?
PBJ.
AMI
yeah, I mentioned that was being re-released. So watch guys, if you want to do a PBJ, paint your Mitchell blue, put a radome on it and all that kind of stuff, patrol, and then eventually maybe they'll do more of the gunships.
Now I have real trouble
gunships.
I have real trouble taking seriously any vehicle called a PBJ.
Well, those
peanut butter and jam. PBJ, peanut butter and jam.
What's better on a patrol mission?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Straight.
In Vietnam, the Sky Raider Sandy pilots were out so long they would bring ham sandwiches and stuff with them on missions because they're loitering. They're just sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to have me a ham sandwich.
Definitely. Okay. The other thing I forgot to mention, I put through it in here, is my lovely wife and I went out to Costco last week for our quarterly run. We always go around supper time, so it's quieter and there's less people I may have to kill.
Good idea.
Yep. Let's sample things where people are blocking the way and I have to kill people. Anyway, we went by, we were in the general household thing and they had reading glasses. Now, I am terribly nearsighted and I've been trying to find a way. I've been using magnifiers, something that just brings it up a little bit more. Because otherwise, when I work, I have to literally take my glasses off and put the thing almost in my eye to see fine detail. So I thought about this and they had up to 3 times readers. And they had flexible frames and whatnot. So I thought, and they had a sample there, you could try it. So I did. So what I did was I put these readers over my regular glasses. I got a 3 times set. And what do you know? It's fantastic. Good depth of field. I can go, fairly far out. And it's just enough to bring that detail home. And unlike the magnifiers, you're not having to focus through one eye. So less chance of getting a headache. And I've been trying it for the last couple of days, and darn it, if it doesn't work really well. And you get a 3-pack of these things for $20 Canadian. So my wife stole one. I have one down here, and I've also been using them upstairs when I read because I do have to get a new prescription, but some of the text in some of the books are a little bit small for me now, and these just make all the difference. So it might be worth for people. Have a look. If you're really nearsighted, you might want to look. It kind of reminds me, there's a show I watch on the BBC called The Repair Shop, And Steve Fletcher is the clockmaker, and he always has two glasses. He's got one set on his face, and he often has another set, and that's what he essentially does.
When you posted that picture, Steve was the guy I immediately thought of. Steve Fletcher.
Exactly. Yeah, we were talking, and when I was at Brofdale's, I was talking to one of the guys, and he said the same thing when I was telling that story. So might be worth a try for people. In fact, I looked online, and Amazon you can get 5 times. So I wouldn't want to go much higher than that, but I think that might be worth trying as well. Again, I've got slightly wider.
I will tell you though.
Yeah.
One pack of 3 will not go very far. Because you will find that you will be leaving them all around the house.
Oh, that was my dad and my mom. Well, no, what's good is, like I said, and they have nice cases. One stays on the Mojave bench, because that's the only time I use them. I don't wander around. And one stays upstairs in the bedroom beside it with the books up there. And then my wife has her own.
I'll have to give them a try, maybe. I have an Optivisor, but it does take a lot of space. And back to my travel packs, if I use that, then
I like the Optivisor. Don't get me wrong, Terry, but it does give me a headache after a while. It just doesn't quite do it enough. So I'm still always, when I'm trying to do something detailed, I'm always taking them off. So it might be worth a try. Go somewhere like Costco or Sam's Club where you can try some on your head. I do recommend the flexible frames because you can put them over.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I tried doing the other way, doesn't work as well. So if you put the readers, I'm so nearsighted that readers are useless for me without my regular glasses. But if you're very nearsighted, it might be worth a try. Okay, and who had this last one here?
I did. You mentioned about I forget something up ahead, but I saw a promo for history of the world in 6 classes, and I read that book by Tom Standage, and they have made it into a series with quite the cast.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd apparently produced it.
Yep.
Or and hosts it. But you've got
characters.
Jim Belushi, John Lovitz, Kevin Nealon, George Wendt. Now it's literally the history of the world using these 6 beverages.
Yeah, I see which one George has in his hands. That's totally
George Wendt has a beer, right?
Of course.
Lovitz has a coffee, distilled spirits with Aykroyd, cola, and wine. And it's a phenomenal book. I've got to bring a bunch of books up for you guys, and
I'll have to see this. I'll have to see if we can find it.
Yeah, it was one of those. And these guys are funny, so they'll build a lot into it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I love stuff like that sometimes, because you get the you get the interesting stuff sometimes that you don't you wouldn't think normally you'd be interested, but once you start reading it.
No, and you think of all of these things, and most of them are ways to get nutrition but not die while getting water, right? And tea became, it's not alcoholic. That was a revolution, that you could have a safe thing to drink that wasn't alcoholic. And just by, boiling your water and flavoring it.
Yeah, exactly.
And flavoring it a little bit. And it had the added bonus of being very slightly caffeinated.
Yeah. Yes. I see the series has already been released. Looks like there's already a couple episodes out.
Oh, great. I'll have to dig it up. Have to look it up.
I'm just looking it up here. Looks like they're up to, six episodes. Apparently.
6 episodes, yeah. Which makes sense.
It's already all been released.
On Fox Nation, apparently.
Fox Nation. All right. Yeah. And the book by Tom Standage. So we'll have to look at that. Very cool. Very, very cool indeed. Okay. So the last word. As usual, we are also sponsored by Brett and Christie at Return to Kit Form. They got some sales going on right now. They're getting out of the model kits. They're still going to do their masks. So make sure you check their site at return2kitform.com. Always good to hear from them. And if you're looking for masks and stuff like that for your Macross, just saying, you have to check it out. As always, check out what the other podcasts are up to. And if you want to hear some other podcasts, we have a compilation site, modelpodcasts.com. You can check that out. If you're listening to us on various podcast apps, make sure you leave us a positive review. It does help. We're on Facebook.
I did listen, Stuart, to that compilation one the group Gab Fest with you and all the other podcasters talking about why you did it, what you do, and how you do it. And it was really quite interesting, because Terry and I just
show up.
We just show up, but you do all
the
work, and good for you.
You guys show up, you eat all the shrimp cocktails in the green room, all the shrimp rings. I see that, and then off you go. That's
drink
fine.
All the scotch.
Did you like some of my mic drop moments?
You had a couple there, but it was all very good. It was really well done.
It was. I enjoyed that a lot.
We enjoyed it. We're going to do it again at some point. We're going to do it again at some point. We really enjoyed that.
Maybe the rest of us will record something in the Sidekicks lounge.
Hey, there you go.
Well, that's it. The Sidekicks.
The second banana lounge. I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good. So we also have our very own website, scalemodelpodcast.com, home of the internet's best show notes for modeling podcasts. I've been told this. We have
voted by one. Yes.
Well, that's the important one. So that's the reviewer. So if he says so, must be it. I don't see anyone saying otherwise. We also have merch on Redbubble. Check that out as well. We will be at Heritage Con. So make sure you find us there. I did confirm. I was listening to the boys from Kentucky. They'll be coming back up.
Oh, good.
And also Andy's from Andy's Hobby Headquarters will be coming up. So I've reached out. You've reached out to try and get an interview with him.
Is he going to drive up in one of his own 1/16 scale models?
You never know with Andy, right? No, I'm going to talk to him. Hopefully I can get a good interview, and I want to kind of behind the scenes, the whole shipping thing. And, I think it'll be an interesting interview. But because, again, he gets the internet. He's built this essentially from the ground up. So it'll be interesting to hear. So
shipping's got to be killing them. I mean, that's terrible right now.
Well, it's more if you want to, you're in Canada and you want to buy something from down there, the main issue is, and I have to confirm this, but I believe he's still only doing UPS up here. And if we do UPS up here, we get absolutely
screwed.
Basically, that's the polite way. I've heard less polite ways, but it's a family show. So, a reasonable family show.
It's the same. It's the same physical interaction. It's just a different terminology.
Excellent. Listen to the lawyer there, folks.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Anyone else have any parting shots, parting words?
Nope.
Okay. So for episode 134 of the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Geoff Hyland.
And I'm Terry Measley, reminding you to have some fun.
Get a Zeppelin.
Get a Zeppelin. Thank you, and be well.